think we're good to go. Here we are.
Are you going to wear that?
Hmm?
Are you going to wear that?
Am I going to wear this?
Yeah, it's like a t-shirt.
Vicki.
I've never had somebody on my podcast be like, Jeremiah, are you sure you want to wear this for the podcast?
Okay.
This isn't reality gaze. That's
Just
later.
to make sure you're good with it.
Oh my God.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
good with
you
it.
ladies, you look really nice.
Oh, we tried really hard. I thought it was I thought it was like semi-dress, but
This is us
obviously
trying
not.
very hard.
Anyway, you look really good.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
Opening with the roast on the show over
You're
here.
gonna wear
Sorry I
that?
didn't wear my best T-shirt for you today on the podcast.
Well, you look
I should have
good.
worn my animal print today.
That's what we do, Jeremiah. Did you wash your sheets this morning?
Yeah, what do you do? Do you have a load of laundry in? What's happening right now?
Well,
you can do better.
He's trimmed nicely, though. Look at that. Nothing's out of place on his mustache.
Oh, so now you're hitting on him.
Now
This is awkward.
No. She's saying my dad beard is a mess right now. I need to trim up. That's what she's saying.
No, I'm not.
Nope. I see right through it, Vicki. I see right through it.
To be honest, you're right. But I know you're busy with your kid had a birthday. You can't be out shopping for good clothes or grooming yourself.
What are you, suddenly his gay stylist? Is this the Met Gala? Like, he's in his own home.
I'm very happy to be here. Don't get me wrong. Thank you. I was just making sure you were dressed. I didn't know if we were starting like that.
Making sure
No,
you're dressed.
we're in it.
Okay.
We're in
this
it
is
right
live
now.
then. Yeah, good.
I like organic, and you roasted me right off the bat. I'm like, oh, we're in this podcast.
right.
I got to get my defense system up, I
That's
guess,
right.
a little bit.
I can't dig out of this hole now. It's up to you guys. Can we
America's
go into the
sweetheart,
sack
Vicki
talk?
Barbolak, everybody.
It was this guy. No.
Well, Vicki Barbolak Shawn Pelofsky is here on the show. Give them a round of applause from your home, from your gym, wherever you're listening or watching this right now. Thank you for coming on the show, ladies.
Well, thank you for having us, Jeremiah.
I love your show. It's really funny, and it's great to be here in your amazing studio.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you gave a little bit of an eye roll, Vicki. I don't
Because
know.
it's a real studio. It's a real space. Last week we were in this guy's living room, and the lady next door was remodeling. Yeah, it was something else. Boom, boom, boom. This is so classy.
While I'm thinking of it, pull the mic a little bit closer to you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, you don't want it that close.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
Just
Jesus.
Pretend
Has a
it's
mind
your
of its own.
husband.
Is it drifting?
Pop Brockman.
It's drifting. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
leaning away from me like any other man. God, I'll just hold it like this. No. I'll just pump. God.
Vicki.
I'm good. I'm very politely comforted.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
You sound fantastic. You look fantastic. We're
Thanks.
live on the scene right now.
I just flew in from Vegas this morning to get here on time.
She did.
I appreciate that. I know you gave me
worth it.
a small window of time, so I appreciate you being here.
That's how
so
much I like
grateful.
her. I actually picked her up at the airport,
Yeah.
which
What?
nobody does for anybody.
At LAX,
No.
she
Yeah.
did.
That's
Yeah.
old school right there.
She's very- that's a
Picking
good
up your
friend.
friends,
OG.
not doing the Uber thing. You got to really love someone to not send them in an Uber.
I love
She's
her.
so good to me like that.
Yeah.
She spoils me.
I give her all my own makeup.
Yeah?
Yes.
Wow,
That explains all
what
the
a
good
gem.
face.
That's a good
I mean,
the
even though
rash.
it's kind of used and whatever,
Yeah.
but she takes
Most
it.
of the time, nothing happens.
Now,
and I'm grateful to have
used
it.
makeup, do they call those leftovers too?
Yeah.
No, it's just Sean's used
yeah.
makeup.
We
Sean's
call
used
it too
makeup.
Yeah.
expensive to throw away.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
I just take it. You know, 'cause
How expensive is makeup for like telling me as a guy who knows nothing about that? Like, let's say a month worth of makeup.
$150 to $200 a month.
Really?
For
Yeah.
Vicki.
How much for you? Because I get
For
used.
me, it's a little different because, I like to say I own half of Sephora by as much as I invest into their makeup, like weekly. But good moisturizer is like $100. So let's just begin there. We're not even just talking makeup.
Yeah.
We're talking skincare. So
Yeah.
Concealer.
I drop like $500 a month.
That's why the reason I save is like she gives me her old palettes and things like that. Yeah, I used to eat her old food, but because when we first met, we met at the Comedy Store at the Belly Room, and this girl.
And you were a rescue comic, right?
Yeah, I was a rescue comic.
Okay,
She
great.
saved
Great,
me.
yeah.
And so we went to dinner after our first time we met. This girl was supposed to buy us dinner for being in her show, and she never showed up, so we had to buy the dinner. And I said, and I know how small she is. I'm like, you want to split dinner?
I love that Vicki calls me small.
And she just reached across the table and goes, no! Like, no! So then I watched her eat. She like ate quarter of her sandwich. So from then on, I just never asked to split, but I would order like a crouton, And then I would
she
wait
eats
for
my
her to
food.
finish.
Yeah.
And then for about 5 years, it totally worked. But then about 5 to 7 years
I caught on
she
to
caught
you.
on. She goes, just order your own food. Don't sit here and look and wait for me to be done. I've had it. And then she
Because
tried
were
to
you
force...
planning on bringing that home for leftovers?
No, never.
No.
She would
You
don't
never
do leftovers?
No, God,
Not
no.
really. I mean, my husband will have
Now that
leftovers.
she's married, she does.
Yeah, but like I don't really cook, and I don't like to cook, and since I got married, I learned to make like 5 dishes, and I rotate them. I think now I'm up to 6, but I'm never going to be Julia Childs.
What's your top
all
dish?
good.
Life on the line. Gun to the head. You have to make the best dish of your life.
Okay.
Go.
My skinny chicken enchiladas. You knew I was going to say that, Vicki, because that's the only dish she's had
They're
of
so
mine.
good. No, that's not true. I've had many things. I had your latkes the other day, and they were
Oh
delicious.
yeah, my latkes are not bad
Oh,
either.
I love latkes.
Her
But-
latkes.
They're pretty good, and the secret is hand grating. You got to hand grate the latke.
Okay.
But they're a lot of work, which I don't like to really
Yeah, of course.
put into a lot of work into cooking because I don't enjoy it. But people do enjoy the latkes.
They're so good. Yeah, all of a sudden you can cook.
All of a sudden you could cook. I just didn't want to.
I love food, but I don't love preparing at all. So
Mm-hmm.
like I will, like my wife will sometimes come home, like if something's not fixed, she's like, "Did you eat today?" I'm like, "It's kind of busy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would rather just wait until something is like fixed."
Presented to you.
Yeah, until like I'll skip a meal over like having to like really like put something in the oven or something like that. Like
That's
weird.
a God gift.
Your dinner, Jeremiah.
Right here.
Sire.
Right this way, sir.
Your dinner.
If I'm not eating, I'm freaking eating.
I skipped a few meals waiting for you to come home, but thank you.
We've cooked this goose all day long.
Oh, very, very good. Oh, I was growing quite hungry earlier, and I decided, I might as well wait till the wife comes home to prepare something for me.
Do you
you're a
like how
lucky
we've
man.
remodeled the castle?
Yes, the 2-bedroom castle looks very nice right now.
Oh, quite nice, quite
The
nice.
vacuum lines are looking stunning today.
Has anyone seen Diana?
No. I think I noticed her in the portico as I came by earlier. Yeah. You
Vicky's
guys
going to
I-
Europe soon.
I eat
Oh,
and
yeah?
cook
Yeah.
all the time.
Where are you going to in Europe?
I'm going to Scotland and England.
Oh, that's awesome. I've never been to Scotland. Been
Me
to
too.
England once. Loved it. I would love to go to Scotland someday.
I've never been to
Super
Scotland
excited.
either. But they don't wear underwear under the...
I'm going to touch a lot of haggis. I cannot wait. I cannot
Good
wait.
luck at
husband's name is
understanding.
Haggis. Hello.
Lou's going, and
Yeah.
when I went to Dublin for my 60th birthday, I said, "Can I get kissed by some?" He didn't go. I said, "Can I kiss some Irish guys? Can I get kissed one
Right.
time?" He said yes, and so it was 3 years ago, and I got 2 kisses, and I thank him all the time. Thank you so much for letting me make out with.
But now
Irish
he's
guys
going to be
Was
on the
it full
trip with you.
makeouts? Did you go for
no,
it?
it was just real kisses, nice kisses, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
in public too as well.
Now,
It
what
wasn't,
were
like, private?
how did you meet these people? Did they know you from?
No, they didn't know me from anything.
Yeah.
And it was just like I was sitting next to my beautiful cousin in this one bar in Killarney, and my cousin's beautiful and blonde and gorgeous. And so this guy comes up, and I go, "Look, Feline wants you to come dance with him," and he was a singer.
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, he's talking to you." I go, "No," but he was. He pulled me up, and then he sang me a song. And then he talked to me for a little bit, and then he kissed me right on the lips, just like a dream. Just beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
But you're going to have a harder time understanding them in Scotland. I mean, you need to
and Lou's
understand
gonna
them,
be
right?
I didn't care
Yeah.
though. I only wanted an Irish kiss. I don't really care about a Scottish kiss.
I dated a Scottish guy for a little bit, but I never could understand what he was saying,
he was saying?
especially
It's
when
too much.
Yeah, when I was like on the road and we were talking dirty on the phone, and he'd be like, "Oh, what are you wearing?" And I'd be like, "Well, I have it's a lace pink bra and these little G-string panties." And he's like, "Oh, my kick is hard." And I'm like, "You're gonna what? Kick me hard?" And it was like, "My kick is hard. You're gonna kick me hard?" No,
My kick has never been harder in my entire life.
my kick is hard. It's hard to understand. Like, I don't advise having like sex talk with the Scottish
from
guy.
6 till midnight. What are you saying right now?
Donkey. That's exactly what they're saying.
No. No.
Now, why? Now, is it a luck of the Irish thing? Why was it an Irish kiss that you're like, I would love an Irish kiss while I'm on vacation?
Because I just Irish men. There's something
Yeah.
about them. Shanika and I are both obsessed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's also obsessed with all South Americans and anybody with a tan. But I mean,
How about just men breathing?
but all men as well as I. But there's specifically, we both have always been into Irish guys. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just the sound of their voice, the way they're just their cadence.
It's the accent. I mean, it's
and
accent.
they're usually really cute in
Women,
some way or
we
another.
love a good accent. Women
Yeah.
love a good accent. We love
true. It's
Irish,
mostly the accent.
British, Australian, Germans, not so much.
No.
But
Why do you not like the German people?
you want me to start?
Is your dog okay?
Listen, is it okay if I
Oh, no.
May I fillet you
No,
later?
I don't.
No,
I don't want to
exactly.
be 6,000,001. We're good. We're good.
I would like to pleasure you later, Sean. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I want to take your runs out with me.
Yeah. Oh no! In Germany, when
Every
I
single night.
Oh gosh! Oh gosh! You sound like the
Oh, that's
villain
really funny.
of like every like
good.
Yeah, of every action
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, just put her in a railway car and take her out.
I can't get into the
No.
German thing. And that's the country I've actually been in the most.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly, just because to entertain the troops,
Right.
whether I'm going to Afghanistan or to Bosnia, you always have to fly through Germany. Then we did a whole tour
I
through
really
Germany.
liked your Saturday tonight.
Anne Frank, she's in the attic. She's in the attic. I'm just uncomfortable. I'll
Yeah.
never be comfortable in Germany. Sure, all the Germans just tuned out right now. You're welcome. Welcome.
Every German viewer at home is like, oh, I thought I had a shot for so really. This is very upsetting, actually. Anyway, I guess I'll tune into a different podcast.
You never get into third base with me,
German
Klaus.
men with Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
What do you consider third base?
We've talked
we're
about
talking
this,
about
Vicki
that.
and I.
That's the weirdest analogy of the baseball game is obviously sex is home run.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
that's home plate,
Right.
rounding all the bases. But
Right.
third is a very tricky one. Second and third are always weird.
Back in my day,
Yeah, we're talking about that.
it's fingering.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, that's it.
Well, then what's second?
Second's
up the hands on the
is your
boobs.
boobs.
Oh, okay, so kisses first,
Yeah.
base.
Yeah.
And then
Up the shirt.
groping up the shirt
Petting
or whatever.
up the shirt,
Heavy
petting up the shirt.
Oh my God, the heavy petting.
Heavy petting. You remember
We
that
used
term?
to remember
Oh,
that.
heavy petting.
Heavy petting.
Yes. Girls
And then third base was going.
touching
Either
the
a
touching.
blowjob or like a
The
fingering or something.
blowjob never was in the mix of it. But
Really?
it was fingering.
Is that a pop fly?
Huh?
Is that a pop fly?
I don't know where
Is that a-
blowjob's like
Is that a
seventh.
bunt?
Yeah. It's you know what, that is good. I don't know.
That's what we're talking about nowadays, like for kids now, like, 15 to 17, whatever.
Yeah.
We're thinking like, what's third base? Is it like anal? Like we
fisting.
can't
I
figure
think-
fisting. We're like talking like that.
Third might be eating ass because
that's what we're
so,
talking
that's so
about.
current right
That's
now.
first
That's what we're
base for the
saying.
gays, though.
That's what we're
so.
I
saying.
feel right. By the way, I felt like my voice cracked. I never say that. I never say that.
I'm
so
telling
like, I
your
literally was
wife.
like eating ass.
It came out so smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You know.
Peter Brady,
Yeah.
with the cracked
exactly.
voice.
Hey, have you ladies ever heard of eating ass before?
Do you guys remember? Do you remember that episode of the Brady Bunch when his voice was changing?
Yeah,
and
of
And it was
course.
like, when it's time to change, you must rearrange.
Classic Brady
Nicely
Bunch.
done.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, but it's definitely something. I mean, if you've watched the show Euphoria, which I've renamed because it's just a naked guy every like 4 minutes, so I just renamed that show Dicks. But that show is great because you see what the kids are into today, and it's pretty frightening because they know
Sure.
so much stuff, which growing up we had to find out on our own about it.
But yet there's recent research that just blows me away. As I was actually reading this when I was on the plane in the New Yorker article that young people are actually having much less sex in a 12-month period right now than they were having like 5 years ago. Isn't that weird? I mean, like,
Is it because of the pandemic or?
I think so, because not according to Euphoria.
I get it, but the other
Yeah, that high school is lit.
It's lit.
there's maybe a lot of reasons for it, but maybe like there's could be a million reasons. Nobody knows. the pandemic could be one, of course, but in fact, it said even before the pandemic, it was declining. And so what's the reason? They say a lot of the guys are maybe like really into getting it off by playing video games a lot, and they're feeling like that's doing enough. And then there's just...
Wait, they're replacing video games with sex?
They're replacing sex with video games.
My husband plays a lot of video games.
Interesting.
Hey, Vicki, you're on to something.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, but I think it's interesting to think about, like Shanika and I always, talk about.
She calls me Shanika.
How often we do it, what's normal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're, we think differently.
Yeah.
We always have, though. We're always a little bit ahead of the game.
When did you two meet originally?
God,
Like
we don't...
23, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I was 6.
That night when we went out to dinner together at the Belly Room, we did a show. We weren't regulars
Did you
yet.
like each other right away, or is it? See, some of my really close friends I actually butted heads with right away.
Right.
Jeremiah,
And
I can't imagine you butting heads with anybody.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
like
it's
the
more-
world's nicest person.
It's more they're butting heads with me. I'm like, hey, it's like too much for them sometimes.
Yeah, they
Does
go,
that make
oh,
sense?
that guy
They're
can't be that nice. He's not real.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They're
Are
like,
you
this
kidding?
guy's. It's happened. I've come in too hot way
Yeah.
too many times in my life where
Yeah.
people are like, this is too much.
I'm surprised.
No, it
I've
happens.
never...
Especially the darkness of a lot of comics express and just build around themselves.
Sure.
And then you walk into that with your little light going on, your happy little light, and they're like, turn it off, please.
Yeah,
turn that off.
you're like, what's up with this dude?
Yeah.
It's like a red flag for
Yeah.
them. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if I'm like,
Right.
if I go out of my way to meet somebody or something, they're like, well, what does this guy want from me? I'm like, I don't want anything.
Yeah.
I'm saying what's up, because I've been in a similar situation where it sucks to be the new kid and you're just standing around and nobody, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I try to remember that, like when I see like new comics at the store or whatever, I try to remember that, like, man, I've been there, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just kind of like feeling out of place all the time. Or am I stepping in the wrong area? Am I like walking on am I running into the wrong people? You're just like trying to get by.
No, but
Exactly.
you just got, she's right. You have a bright light about you, and sometimes people that are just that magnetic and friendly, and I don't know, because comedy is kind of, it's a dark business, and people sometimes don't know how to react, like, why is this comic so nice, or why are they not just, and I don't know, that's the beauty of you, I think, for sure.
But
Do you want me to go to third base with you right now? Did I just
Yeah,
grease you
let's
up
do
like
this.
that?
Get
That
some
just sounded
cream for
weird.
your fist.
I'm so hard right now.
You have to do it with a German accent, though. I really want to watch
We
that.
want to eat your ass.
Listen, I've been wanting to go to third base for a long time. So I would really appreciate it. I've never made it past second. I got a shortstop called me out one time and sent me back home. And I was like, okay, kind of a cock block, but all right.
Can you end that with Juden? Because that's like every movie they love to. That's the only word I understand in German is Prost, which is cheers, and then Juden,
What is Juden?
Jew.
Really?
Yeah. Watch Schwindlers List, and then they're walking by and they're like,
Oh yeah,
Juden,
that's on my to-do list to
Juden.
do soon.
Yeah. I'm never in a good enough mood to
Hey,
watch
show it
Schindler's
to your
List.
child; they'll love it.
I obviously, people have told me for years how good of a movie it is. I can't bring myself to watch it because I know it's gonna be so sad. Like
Yeah.
I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's somebody doing something good for the people. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Hotel Rwanda,
Right.
which was another extremely sad, shocking movie.
Yeah.
And then but you do see that some guy stepped up to help people.
Right.
Yeah.
Shanika always is amazed at how many things I return after using them and things like that. So she always says that she wants to write a book about me called Shwindlers List.
Schwindler's List.
Schwindler's List.
So are you the type of person who, like, let's say you have a comedy show and you need a prop or something like that? Do you use it and then you take it back? Because I've had buddies who will buy wigs or buy full-on costumes for like a bit and then they return it the next day after
Jeremiah,
they
it's
use it.
way bigger than that. Vicky,
Like
do you
if-
want to tell about your daughter's wedding?
Yeah. I was just like one time I was at a couple of place setting shorts for one of my daughter's weddings in Santa Barbara, and I was paying for everything myself, and I miscounted, so I had to run over to
Macy's?
No, it was Pier 1 Imports, but they were open. Pier 1 Imports, and buy 2 boxes, $50 a setting, and then. And then I had to but they matched it. I put them on the table. And then after the wedding, I had to abruptly ask the people that were eating out of those plates to give me their plates. And then I had to go wash them, put it back in the box during the ceremony, during the reception.
On
during
the wedding day?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm asking the people, are you finished? I'm like clearing their plates. They go, what? I go, I just need your plates. If you're done, I just have to wash them real quick. So
And wash
they're going
them?
back. We wash them, put them back perfectly in the box during the reception.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to be
return
out of
them.
the room by 11. That was pretty hilarious. I mean,
How much money did you save by returning them?
that would have been like $100. I
Yeah.
could never have afforded that. I mean, other things.
Wait, was this $100?
Like sometimes, like if you buy really expensive, like everybody can do this. Like you buy really expensive things at like Whole Foods, like like a salmon, and they say if you don't like it, so you just go, it really wasn't. It didn't seem
wasn't
as
up to
good
par.
to me.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go, ma'am. Here's your money back. You don't have to even bring the salmon back.
Vicky's other hobby
I'm
is
just
returning.
Saying it's never as good as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It never tasted like $74. I'll tell you that.
You don't know, Vicky, she lives in a trailer park, a very nice one.
Yeah, I've been
but
so
her
poor
life
for so long.
My family, all my family in Des Moines lives in a trailer park.
I love Des Moines.
Yeah, so they live in double wides and stuff like
now,
that.
do they have a shelter for tornadoes there at the park?
Yeah, yes, I think there's like a community center that's like I think that's their
And they
shelter
got one.
area.
Good, because my mom's from a little town in Iowa, and I was there during a hurricane, a tornado, and it was a big one. And I went to the library the next day and asked the librarian, I go, are the people in those trailers okay? Kind of, it's in a gully. It's just some trailers, like 15 trailers, not a nice park or anything.
Right.
And she goes, I don't know. Like, nobody cares. I'm like, I was like, geez. But I mean, to live in a trailer in Iowa would be, for me, I'm so afraid of tornadoes, but thank God they have a shelter.
Have you
perfect.
seen one in person before?
That night that I was there at Uncle Rich's house, it came through. It knocked down like a tree between two houses near us. We heard and I've seen one when I was a kid in Illinois as well, visiting my grandparents. But I don't know why I don't. I've just, because of, like in my trailer, the first time I bought a trailer, Lily was a little girl, Emily was a little bit older. And the very first night, there was a big wind, and I yelled, "Lily, get under the table!" I yelled, "Get under the table!" The wind.
Yeah, I've never seen, being from Kansas, I've never actually seen one, but
Really?
we had so many tornado warnings and watches where one time at the community college that I was going to, they said that there was a tornado warning in effect. Mm-hmm. And I drove home and my mom was like, "What? Why did you drive home?" I was like, "I didn't want to be stuck there for hours." And she's like, "Well, what if you got caught?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm home now." I'm like, "Well, don't do that again,"
Being from Oklahoma, I've seen tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them from far away. Like, they weren't in my neighborhood, but I have seen them before.
That's
and it is
scary.
weird, because they do the tornado drills growing up, as you would know, in Kansas. And where they ask you to file out, they have someone open the window. So one person was assigned in the classroom to open the window when the tornado's coming so the glass doesn't fly. So you open the windows, everyone single files out, you go in the hallway, and then you duck under the lockers where shit can fly out and hit you in the head. So I don't know why that was a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't under your desk. It was go in the hallway and then duck under the lockers, cover your head. And that was always ingrained in me. So when I moved to LA and I happened to be here with, was it the 98, what was it, 93? 94 earthquake in Northridge.
Oh, right.
And I was living in Pasadena at the time, and I didn't know what it was. And when I realized it was an earthquake, I didn't know what to do. And instead, I got into tornado position in my bed with just my hands over my head, which I don't know how that would have helped me if the earth was to swallow me whole.
Yeah, that would have been a rough one.
Yeah.
One of the first earthquakes when I was fresh off the boat from Kansas to California, first earthquake I experienced, I was working back at Starbucks back in like 2009, turned on my car. Right when I turned on my car, an earthquake started happening.
Oh, God.
I thought something was wrong with my car.
That really early morning one, the big LA one, was it that one? Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. And I literally, I thought that, I was like, oh, my car's falling apart. Like the whole car was like moving. I get out of my car, I pop the hood to look at the engine to see what's wrong, and I start feeling discombobulated.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? And then like I went inside of Starbucks, and they're like, did you just feel that earthquake? I was like, is that what that was? I thought my car was breaking.
Thank God, right?
Yeah.
Thank God it's the earth moving and not my car.
And not my car. I mean, that car was like all I had, so I was grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was freaking out yesterday because I'm like, because of the nuclear threat right now. And I was thinking to myself, how are we going to know the difference between a nuclear attack and an earthquake? It could be either one.
Oh, just like the recoil and the shock.
The bomb or the quake. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just eating everything I can right now. I'm saving the planet by eating everything. Because I figure if I eat.
And my leftovers.
Yeah.
It's not a cheat day if you're about to die. Hey.
That's what I'm saying. And then because I'm going to gain 80 pounds, we're not going to die. And I'm going to be left saving you guys and unable to ride an airplane.
Well, we have our priorities straight. It's good.
I'm just helping you all out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vicki.
Stopping at Popeyes
You're
on the way
grounding
out of
us.
here.
We're going to hold on to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am becoming like a buoy for mankind.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
I think that's going to be on your gravestone.
Yeah.
Vicki Barbolak.
Yeah, you're the Titanic door that we're all trying to
buoy
set
for
the
A
grab
huge
onto.
mound coming out of the earth too. They can't. They have to. It's going to come out on top of the earth as well as bottom. My huge 800-pound body.
Stop
from
it.
saving the planet.
You're ridiculous.
How long had you been doing comedy before the AGT stuff? Because
20 years.
20 years. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was such a break, know, because I didn't start till I was 40, like 38, exactly, but really, and I didn't know that was a bad idea. And so when it just was such a lucky break, and like Shanika always goes, if you're on AGT, you have to have something really pathetic, but I didn't know.
Not pathetic. You have to have
something tragedy.
You have the sad, tragic story.
I didn't know.
The story is a very important aspect of all that, for sure.
I didn't even know I was pathetic and tragic till I was on it.
Until
I'm
the
like,
producers
oh my God,
are like,
I'm so
this is
pathetic
great.
and tragic. I'm old and I live in a trailer. I'm fat. And oh shit, I should win.
And when I went to see her during the live taping, and it was like right before the semifinals, I was like, she was up there and they were talking to her, and I thought, oh my God, we started yelling out like, say your uncle was your father, or get a terminal illness. You just got diagnosed. Like I'm trying to
you're
think
anti-leukemia.
You got to add like just her living in a trailer or growing, starting stand up later in life.
Yeah,
it was enough tragedy for them.
Or rejection.
They were thrilled by it.
It wasn't enough compared to the people that like lost their parents in an automobile accident. One girl had she had is it COPD? She was gonna die, cystic fibrosis. She was gonna die in a year. Like people stepped up their tragedy game.
I did a comedy competition that I got second in. Very funny comic. His name's Chris Cope. He has a great bit that's very funny about how he is a cancer survivivor. And I'm like, it put him over the top. We both had killer sets, but I mean, like, that's such a great...
Not going to beat the cancer survivor.
I think that's what put Tig on the map.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying, she would trade it, but... I mean, but yeah, I think you can make. Who is that really funny girl, Laura?
Ingalls Wilder.
No, she does this joke about my mother had cancer.
She know that's funny.
Oh.
No, but yeah, if you
I used to
have
watch
cancer,
that show, by the way, a lot.
But if you don't have cancer, you cannot do a cancer joke. We all found out that. We all know that you can't do cancer jokes.
Oh, for sure. There's certain things that, like, if you haven't gone through it, like, it's hands off.
No, you can't do it.
Well, give me about a year, Vicki. I'm sure.
You're never.
I'm working on some new material.
Every day I wake up this morning, I'm like, today's the day.
How's my tumor?
Every day I call Vicki and I'm like, this is it.
Cancer.
I've got something on the back of my head.
That sounds like a weird comedy special, like how's my tumor, and it's just it's just like making a face. I'm like,
that's actually a new show on TLC.
Oh, really?
It's called How's My Tumor.
How's My Tumor?
Yeah, it's Shawn Pelofsky. My finger's hurting. It's cancer.
Every day.
I'm like, you know what? It was cancer last week again.
But now it's spreading upsetting to my husband.
Yeah.
And it's so
He has
funny to
cancer now,
hear.
too?
Well, yeah, like, I'm paranoid. I worry. I'm a
Would you say
hypochondriac.
I was going to say, are you a hypochondriac?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I worry. You read about things. I'm a doctor's daughter, so I know like shit can happen. I've had some things happen to a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So, you just kind of put that in a file and it goes into my brain. And each day I'm like, oh my God. Or I watch a lot of like TV or reality TV or movies and you're like, what is this disease? And can I get it? So I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my God, is this the day? And now I talk about it so much. My husband is a pretty easygoing, quiet Brazilian guy. Now he's like, oh, look at this thing on my skin. Do you think I've got cancer? And so now he's kind of picked up
It's like
the
a
same
tiny little speck. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's picked up the mannerisms. So I'm not proud of it, but it does exist in me.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding, jinx, you owe him a six-pack.
Hey.
Yeah, that is wild. Yeah, I'm always affirming that you're not, and so far I've been correct. I wish we'd put money on it.
But
all
I go to the
times.
doctor a lot.
Do you?
Yes,
She does not.
I do not, but I'm going to be going to the doctor.
My wife kind of forces me to remind me to do appointments and stuff.
Got to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hate
Be
it.
preventative.
Yeah,
Preventative.
I know.
And change your sheets, Jeremiah.
Change your sheets, change your shirt, please, Jeremiah. What are you doing? You couldn't even put on a good velvet suit coat for us?
I know. What did you think he was going to wear? A blazer
I
Lou?
didn't know that it was such a casual. So I know, and I wish I wouldn't have mentioned it for sure. But
I love your husband, by the way. I love Lou.
Everyone loves Lou Brockman.
He was blown away by your playing and singing because we've been listening to you. That's the thing. I've only listened to the podcast. So if I'd have watched, I would have seen how you dress. But he thinks he can't believe how good you are.
Oh, I mean, so if you don't know, so Lou for years was the resident piano player
He
at.
still is.
He still is.
Yeah.
Oh, the last time I think I missed him the last time I went
If
there.
I'm on the road, he comes with me a lot.
That's what it is.
But if he's
I missed him the last time, and
Or
I
if
just
it's
thought
tax
that he.
season.
yeah, tax season.
Gotcha.
He's an
tax season.
accountant,
He
too.
stays there and does the work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made it
cool.
real sweet for him.
That's amazing. So he's the resident piano player at the La Jolla Comedy Store, and I have had literally some of my favorite sets in comedy and favorite memories with Lou at the La Jolla Comedy Store. It's one of my favorite clubs in the nation,
Yeah.
and we've done it a couple times where he said, "Hey, will you bring your sax down the next time?" And I was headlining like at the end of the night, I would. Before, as people were walking in, I would just be in the background with Lou. We were playing
That's
off
right.
each
So
other.
cool.
And it was really interesting to see people really not pay attention, really notice like kind of later in the show, like, wait, aren't we seeing that guy later
That
tonight?
is so cool.
Yeah.
And it was cool because like Lou, he's so good at just like, he's like I'm going to set you up and then like you can do a little like solo here. And like, it's cool. He's just so fun to work with. And he's just got such great comedic timing where he's just fun to play off of, you know?
Yeah, he is such a good guy.
I don't call him Lou. I call him Pot Brockman because he loves weed, and he's loved weed since I have known him, and he's always high, and so you can never.
Always in a good mood.
Yeah. Can never call him Lou. It's always like, let's hear it for Pot Brockman. He's high right now. It's always.
I have tried for 17 years to bring him misery, and it is impossible.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible. The guy is the happiest
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, we had an anniversary yesterday in
Yeah.
Vegas. It
Oh,
was
17
congratulations.
years.
17.
So fun.
Wow.
I can't believe it. No one thought it would last.
No.
Because I never last.
I did. I thought it'd last, and I went to help Lou get the wedding
Yes.
ring for Vicki, because when he'd first looked at rings and he'd picked something within his budget, Vicki was smart enough, I was smart enough to go with him to be like, okay, I'm going to be the Jewish girl that strong arms Lou into a bigger ring. And that's exactly what I did. And I didn't have to actually strong arm him. When I picked the bigger diamond that was more expensive, I said, this will look, she'll really like this one. He goes, oh yeah, all right, that'll do. Yeah,
And
all
then
right.
Shanika goes, now, when I was in Iowa taking care of my uncle who's sick, I come back and I know she's with him. And I know they bought the ring. And she told us, she goes, now you do something really nice for the proposal. You do a nice job with this big ring. You do a nice proposal. So I get off the plane from Iowa. He picks me up. We get home. I put my suitcase down, and we're at the old trailer. And he goes, "You want to go out? You want to go outside in the porch and get high?" I go, "Okay." I go outside in the porch, and he just opens the ring, like that. I literally go.
That was his proposal.
I go, that's my proposal? You want to go get high? That was my proposal? And he goes, well, look, it lights up. It lights up. See, it lights up. I had to do it outside. It lights up. Like, that was my proposal.
He's like, no. Get high for life with me.
But looking back, I always am jealous of these beautiful proposals, but that was a perfect proposal that Lou could have given me.
That was him. It was very him. You know what I mean?
Want to get high?
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I guess
Lou
it's time
Brockman.
to settle down.
Yeah.
And the reason I think he married me is because up to that point, for like 5 years, I was charging him $700 a month to rent my pop-out room that we built behind my trailer. So he lived in like a California patio room for $700 a month, which made my life so much better because I had 2 kids and living off stand-up. And then when he married me, he stopped paying rent. So I'm
I
thinking...
hate that when that happens.
I know
Right?
that's
That's
why
the
he did it.
worst.
I know that's why he did it. It took me a while to figure out, but I'm like, damn it.
He quit wanting to be
When you
you
figure
as landlord.
17 years at $700 a month, how much money I have lost just to...
But you know what, Vicki? You could just return it to Kohl's once you've used that shirt. So you can make up that money. Use
tried.
makeup. And they got married at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. That's what was it. It was an awesome
Did
wedding.
you really?
Yeah,
it was
Mitzi
really
Shore
fun.
was
Mitzi
there.
came.
It was pretty incredible.
We had a 2-drink minimum, and it was really fun. It was really
That's
fun.
so cool. What comics were showing up for the wedding? there?
A lot of people came. Brian, everybody that was there came.
The most important person was there.
Shanika was there, and
Shanika.
Mitzi, and it was
so cool.
really fun.
Is that one of the first weddings that's been done?
It was one of the first. Then there was a couple after that.
Yeah.
One of the waitresses, she was and a bartend back,
Mm-hmm.
Dan, and then I think one other person might have gotten married there. Yeah, but it was
It's
really
interesting that
That's
someone
cool.
else
fun.
chose that.
And it was just it
Now,
was-
who played piano that night?
Lou had a band for the
Okay.
party, but this old woman named Carrie Baker, who was amazing, she was a piano bar lady in San Diego. She was a stenographer at the Nuremberg trials. Such an interesting woman.
Wow.
She was really trippy, and she was like 85 and had big black hair, and she played and sang beautiful. And I loved her. And
Lou hired her because she had a little bit of rasp
you make
in her
her
voice
you make
too.
her sound like that you remember the show Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Like that old the one that
kinda
Selma
did that.
Diamond played.
Right.
She'd go, Queen of the. She was just when I'd come in the club, the Red Fox room in this old place in San Diego. I'd come in and she'd always go, trailers for I'm Queen of the Road, and she was awesome. So she played me up the aisle, and she was.
I don't
fabulous.
remember her.
She was on piano. I don't think you ever really went to the Red Fox room and knew her.
But she was singing at your wedding?
She played me up the aisle.
You know what I
yeah.
remember at her wedding is that some old lady when I went to dance, tried to steal my camera out of
She
my
stole
purse.
your camera.
Kind of like, do you remember from Dirty Dancing when they bust the 2 old people who were stealing jewelry from everybody at the wherever they went for the vacation? That's like, it was, whose
She
mom
was an old
that?
woman comic. She was also a comic herself and worked with her son, Terry,
Apparently.
these Orange County comics. And I'd known him. We used to do these AA rooms together. And so I invited him. I didn't know she was a kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe she took it.
Yeah.
And then my dad heckled the whole wedding. He was a pro football player and he had a lot of brain injury. And so during our wedding, he kept yelling, "Give me my money! Give me my money!"
As your father does during your
Because
wedding.
I had to kind of conserve his money because he gambled, and he kept screaming, "I want my money!"
Pete
It was great.
Barbolak.
Wow.
Good time.
Shout out to Pete Barbolak. That's amazing.
Definitely.
It was a fun wedding, though.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's a good mind. Her dad was funny. Remember the time we were at the Comedy Store? You were in your convertible. You brought your dad. Was it when he didn't have his legs yet?
He
Or
had
you
his legs then.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes, hi. He goes, Shawn, sit on my lap. Sit on my lap. And
Always
I
said,
looked
"Sit
at
on my
Vicki
lap" to
like,
her.
your father wants me to sit on his lap. And I was like, okay, Pete. Like it was.
At Mom's funeral, he pushed you onto his lap.
I
He
don't
had
know.
no lap.
He sure
by
loved
then.
his Goldschlager, though. Loved Goldschlager, her father.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys get married?
We got married in Northern California.
It was
that's
outdoors,
where kind of. There was moments where we had like the reception was like it was part outside where you could walk in and out of the
pretty.
church. Yeah, cool little place up near Danville, California.
Was that like
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago? 3? Because
We're coming up on 5.
What?
Yeah, this this October will be 5 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
crazy.
that blew by.
I know. Got a baby now.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
I know.
I think we should get into this next segment that's called Wig.
Doretta Lockless. Live in the Las Vegas Lounge today, Doretta Lockless is here. With her partner in crime,
Rachel Feinberg.
Rachel Feinberg. And it's just your pal Scallywally on the keys over here.
Oh, Scallywally, still have it. You still have it. You're never gonna lose it.
Thank you, babe. It's great to see you. You two look cool as hell tonight.
Oh, thank you, Ed.
Scally, I'm really loving the highlights.
Thank you. My sister cousin made them for me.
This is so beautiful.
Now, this time of year is a very special time of year. A lot of tourists coming into the lounge lately, right, ladies?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a favorite time of year. Unfortunately, I forgot to get waxed this morning, but I'm just kind of preoccupied with my own scratch. But
And how unwaxed are you?
I could file my nails, honey. I could file my nails. But that's what people are thinking about when they're looking at old Doretta.
Oh, Doretta. Oh, Doretta.
In Hebrew, Chab Doretta Shiman.
Oh, you make the Hebrew so sexy. So sexy. You remember the time we had the Hebrew review?
Ah, the Hebrew
The
review.
whole town came out.
Motown. Signed right away.
It was great. It was one of the best nights ever in this town. Hebrew night at the lounge.
Yeah. But Sarah tried to ruin that evening. Do you remember that?
Of course.
She came in
Skank.
wearing her best shadel.
Jesus. Try to steal everything from you.
Yeah. Just because she's got a pretty face and a nose job.
10 years younger than us. Well, 20 than me.
Take your
And she
shadel
just-
somewhere else, Sarah.
The little ass of hers.
Ass.
We
Little
didn't
ass.
need her. We'll never have her back.
Never, never.
Kid's still got it, and he's still got the magic on the keys.
Oh, Loretta.
Doretta,
Oh, Doretta.
thank you.
Loretta and Doretta. Oh, Doretta and Doretta. Sometimes I get confused when I'm talking to different exes of mine, and Doretta and I go way, way back.
That's right.
Everybody goes way back with Doretta.
I remember when you were just a child. Not even allowed to come into the bar. I had to bring you inside.
I remember Doretta because you used to be my babysitter.
That's right. I taught you a little bit about cigarettes, as I recall.
Barely legal.
Let's just say Doretta taught me what base was what on the baseball field.
That's right. You gotta let them know young, so they do it right later. I've helped a lot of young men.
Watch your balls, Doretta.
That's right.
Watch your balls, Doretta. Watch your balls, Doretta.
In Hebrew, that's Chamashta.
God.
See, they've been doing this act around here in Vegas for the last 35 years. And, basically, one of them says something dirty, and then the other one says something dirty and Jewish.
That's what we do.
That's basically the act.
That's what we do. It's called a black and white.
Black and
like
white.
a black and white Jewish cookie. It's a black and white sex joke. That's
Yes.
basically.
I had a black and white the other day, and it was tasty as all get out.
It is
I
the best
love a
cookie.
good black and white.
It is definitely. We made a new cocktail involving a black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was vodka,
Sprite. No, Manischewitz.
Manischewitz, vodka, Sprite, and a
Manischewitz,
black,
Sprite.
half and half black and white
Black
cookie.
white. It's called
Best.
the Temple. It's called the Shirley Temple Bethom.
Shirley Temple Bethom. If you go to the, we don't have a website. Never mind.
No.
Forget it, Loretta.
No website.
I hope you guys all wrote that down.
Just a black and white cookie. And sometimes rugula.
I love me some arugula.
Love rugula.
When
And
Jeremiah,
that's just also the name of my meth dealer down on 24th Street, arugula.
when he plays the high notes, it gets my lady parts all tingly. Does it do that to you, Loretta?
Oh, I barely have my pants on.
There you go.
When I play the high notes, it makes the ladies go tingly.
Yes.
And I then ask if they are singly. I say, what are you doing later tonight on the town? And then I say, are you down for brown? Anal sex.
Anal sex in Hebrew is hitukaka.
Hitukaka. Hitukaka.
Hitukaka. Hitukaka.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with a couple of my best friends and also / my babysitter who taught me a lot of sexual things from when I was a kid. And it's a complicated relationship, and now we have a nice working relationship.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I told you it all sorted out one day, and I was right.
You were right.
You know, for one of my honeymoons, I think it was my second honeymoon. Oh, it was my first honeymoon. My husband at the time, when we were about to be married, he kept telling me he had a wonderful, wonderful wedding gift for me, and he would present it to me on our wedding night. And it was a long time ago, you know, when Doretta was really young, and it was very odd back then. But for our wedding gift, we had rented my uncle had given us an RV to take up the coast. And we're in this beautiful coast, parked in this thunder and lightning.
Was it jewelry, Doretta?
And I expected jewelry. I expected a Tiffany's box, something like that.
Tiffany's, Doretta?
And then he said to me, for your wedding gift, I would like to give you anal sex. I'm like, that is my gift. I was like a Catholic girl. I had no idea what that was like. I thought that was so perverted. It was so disgusting. And he tried it, and it was so pain. I went and I hid in the front of the RV for 20 hours.
Anal sex. That's terrible.
I was like, and I tried to. You can't return that.
No, you can't. You can only take it. Doretta.
Those were some magical words spoken by the one and only
Doretta.
Doretta.
Oh, those were the days.
You know, there's some people like Da Vinci who are masters of their art. And there's some people who are like Confucius. And Doretta is the latter. Because sometimes you don't know what the hell she's talking about.
No.
But then you start to really muster and think, is she onto something?
That's what I told you when you were just a boy. Just listen to Doretta.
Listen to Doretta. Oh, Doretta. Oh, Doretta.
Doretta.
Oh, Doretta. We're going to be going for 9 more hours tonight. If you guys have any requests, just let us know. Make sure that you tip us. We just set up a Venmo account on the corner of the stage if you want to come over and scan it with your phone or anything like that.
Or hear more dirty words in Hebrew, like taint.
What is taint in Hebrew?
Shmecha pacha. Don't touch the mshcha b'cha. Or wash your shma b'cha.
They don't even let her in temple anymore. She can't even go. She's not even allowed. She just does the Tourette's dirty words during all the ceremonies.
Hey, got me through Hebrew school now, didn't it?
Yeah, and camp. Yep. I think you should write a sort of a guide to young girls, my camp days.
At
You
your
know?
camp?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She held my daughters when they were small. She gave them good advice.
Oh,
Well,
really?
she
What
would
kind of
always say-
advice did you give her daughters?
Well, she told Emily not to have sex during high school because of what would happen.
Because it feels like a bat with acid on the end of it.
And they're just gonna break up with you. And it was good advice.
Yeah. I thought that was solid advice.
Which Emily did not take. And it turned out
She got
she
pregnant.
said no, she didn't. But she got left. And just like you said. So I mean, you know, I'm saying your advice was wise. Not that she didn't take. You know
I
what I'm
always
saying?
have wise advice.
Yep.
Now, Doretta, are you into contraceptives?
Absolutely
not.
As soon as my daughters were 13, I took them to Planned Parenthood, whether or not they needed it.
Did you try to return your daughter at Planned Parenthood?
Yes, I did.
They're like Coles.
Right, I know you.
I returned
love
old
returning things.
condoms. These were not
Party
up to
City
my,
wouldn't take
these
your
were not
daughters
up to
back.
my standards.
These condoms don't fit that much of a load in them. I
This
don't know what's
birth control
happening over
pack
here.
had 2 missing pills. Of course. I remember I took Emily, my older daughter, when she started college, she asked me to go to Planned Parenthood with her. And I was so happy to be with her any moment. We get to Planned Parenthood, and I had just told her on the way, Pauly Shore had told me, she goes, Mom, any sentence starting with Pauly Shore had told me isn't going to be a good sentence. I go, you're right, but I'm just going to say this. We're not going to discuss it ever again. Pauly Shore said, use a condom with KY jelly, use KY jelly, then a condom, then KY jelly. And then I'll never discuss it with you again. Then we get to Planned Parenthood, we're in the waiting room, and a video comes on that says, use a KY jelly, a condom, and KY jelly. And we fell out of our chairs laughing at Planned Parenthood. Yeah, it was a great mother-daughter moment.
Silly Doretta.
That's some classic Doretta vibes.
Classic Doretta.
Listen, guys, we only have 19 more hours on stage right now.
All about Doretta.
Listen, they pay us in peanuts and used condoms here at this hotel in Vegas, but luckily we do get to stay here for free.
We're glad to get it.
I live in the cafeteria in the basement of this Vegas hotel, and my mother lives in the walls. They call her asbestos. But you know, that's just me. Don't worry about me. This is about Doretta.
Well,
It's always about Doretta.
Jeremiah, you're not one of those up-and-comers that complains about the food at this hotel. I get so
Who
tired.
the hell is
Jeremiah.
I mean,
Who is that guy?
You know,
Doretta, you are going loco right now.
I've been worried
lady.
about Doretta.
I've been worried about her because I've been playing piano with her for last 35 years. She called me some guy's name that I've never heard of in my life.
She tried to drive a fork yesterday.
She tried to drive a fork.
I'm worried about Doretta. I said, Doretta, that's not your car.
I'm sorry.
It's
I was
a
thinking
fork.
about the pilot on the plane. Excuse me.
And I'm thinking about all the pilots that you and I didn't book together. We're still in Vegas. I don't know what's happening over here. Listen, guys, we only have 32 more hours on stage. Don't worry about us there. If you'd like to send us Jello shots or anything nourishing to the stage, we haven't drank any liquids in about 7 hours.
This is way more fun than the Chabad telethon.
It is. You know, that was a telethon that went wrong. We raised about $4.
$4.
In 19 hours.
Yes.
It was very rough that year.
Yes, they did not appreciate my dirty Hebrew.
I've been over on the Vegas Strip on accident, and my butthole popped out because I wasn't wearing a belt. And somebody thought that I was doing a striptease. I made more money in that amount of time than I did during that telethon.
I often walk up and down the strip with my hand out, making a little extra money. Shanika and I, one time, we did a show. Remember?
Who's Shanika?
Doretta and I.
Who are they, man?
I'm Rachel.
Doretta is going straight up senile with his mother
Doretta,
tonight.
somebody, book her into the loony bin. We're losing Doretta.
We're losing
This
her.
may be our last run with Doretta.
We all knew it couldn't last.
Oh,
Gosh,
Doretta.
we all knew
I've
that.
always wanted to wear that hair.
43 years on this stage. 43 years. I make a couple of name mistakes, and all of a sudden, you guys are ready to bury me with old Rich Little. Okay?
Doretta, don't worry. I'll find a nice caregiver for you.
Yeah, I bet you will. I hope he's
will.
Brazilian. I'm
No.
ready to go.
Doretta,
Filipino.
we had a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes, we
And
did.
Doretta, we had a good ass run.
Yes, it was.
But now it's time for us to be done. Oh, Loretta, oh, Doretta, Doretta and Loretta. I said, Doretta and Loretta and Loretta and Loretta and Doretta.
Loretta, Doretta, Doretta, Loretta, Shalom.
I knew a Jewish word was coming right around the corner. Listen, guys, that's our time. If you want to leave any more tips at the end of the stage, as seen that there's only the dollar bill that we put on at the beginning of the performance to try to initiate more tips, but it didn't really work.
Also, if you have any shekels, please throw those.
I'm
If you
only
didn't know that her partner was Jewish by now, I don't know what to tell you. She's made a lot of references.
You know, I always thought she might be Jewish. I'd like a
I had an
box of
inkling.
wine. Please,
Please-
have a box of wine.
Please,
I'm
no
so
emails
thirsty.
from you anti-Semites. I get enough.
This has been so nice, and I just want to say that I think I have a couple of more years in me. I really do. I was talking to Mort the other day.
How come you became Jewish suddenly?
We're thinking about...
That's my act.
We're
Loretta
thinking
has
about...
lost her mind.
We're thinking about adding a fish to the show.
That's what's
Like a
replacing
fish.
you, Loretta.
No, like a fish
Doretta.
tank. And we could all do my show in the tank.
I've never seen this happen in a casino before. They just shut the lights off on us. I don't know what's happening. I thought casinos were open 24 hours a day. I'm not sure. I think we got to...
Oy vey!
I'm not
I
saying
never
this
gotten I just got an eviction notice from the stage. I don't know what's happening, but I think it's our time. Thank you
tragedy.
so much.
Back to the Chabad telethon.
All right, Vicki and Shawn are now going to share a story of a sexual encounter in one of my favorite segments and one of yours called Sax Talk. Whenever you are ready, Shawn, do you want to start?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Whenever you're ready, I'll follow you along with this sweet,
Okay.
sweet saxophone.
So I was performing on an all-gay male cruise with 6,000 gay men. And I'd just gotten off stage, and I look over and I make eye contact with a guy who was working for the cruise line. And just as he was about to approach me, I was like, game on. Suddenly, a bunch of gay men cock-blocked him, and they're like, hey, Shawn, hey, Shawn, hey, Shawn. Oh. And then when I turned around, he was gone. I didn't see him, and I kept asking people, did you see that guy? Do you know where he works on the cruise? Where does he work? And all week long on that cruise, I searched and I searched for this guy. Does he work in the spa? Does he work in the gym? Is he one of the bartenders? And nobody knew. Nobody knew. And then came the very last night. And it was the white party where everybody dresses in white, in costumes. And so I decided my white party costume, Princess Leia, classic. So I'm dressed as Princess Leia, and I look over, and I finally see this guy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's the guy. I said, how come I never saw you? Where do you work on this boat? He said, I'm the glass blower. And as soon as he started talking to me, all these gay men came up to try and cock block him again. Hi, Shawn. It's good to say, oh. I said, we got to get out of here. We got to find someplace a little more private. But I know you could get fired for getting with me because I'm a guest and you're an employee of the cruise line. He said, meet me in the room down below where all the employees stay. It's below the first floor. I said, okay, but you got to give me 10 minutes. He said, you're going to keep your uniform on, aren't you? I said, you mean my Princess Leia costume? You dirty bird. Of course I will. But I had to get back to my stateroom because I had to get my wig cap off so it didn't look like he was fucking Madam the Puppet. I grab a Magnum XL because that's the only condoms I carry. Size queen. And I head, dressed as Princess Leia, down to the employees' quarters. And then I start searching for his room number and I can't find it. And I'm running around looking like Princess Leia. I knock on a door. I knock on the wrong door. I knock on another wrong door. I go back to where I came from. I see a gay guy from the cruise who's actually sitting with a guy who's an employee of the cruise. And I'm figuring, well, this employee might keep it secret. And I said, could you tell me where the glass blower lives? And he said, oh, he, gives me his right number. So I go over to that number, I knock on the door, and he answers. And I slip into his tiny, tiny little quarters. And we get together, and I'm in my costume as Princess Leia. It's really kinky. And then as I realize I'm going down on him, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm blowing the glass blower. And that night was pretty wild. And in the wee hours of the morning, I say goodbye and I leave his little tiny headquarter room, and I'm walking through the hallways where all the employees live, and I see all the cameras, and I'm like, oh my God, this just doesn't look good. This guy's gonna get fired. So there really was only one thing for me to do. So I stopped in my Princess Leia costume. I looked up at the cameras and I leaned in and I said, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. Lucky glass blower.
Blowing the glass blower. It's irony at its best.
Blowing the glass blower.
Man,
That's a fun
t-shirt.
story.
That's a t-shirt.
I blew the glass blower.
That's so great. Did he give you a trinket, something, a piece of glass or anything?
I didn't want one. I didn't want a piece of glass. I don't need a tchotchke. He did come visit me once.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Took the glass blower out.
Yeah.
We went to the Comedy Store, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think I might have met that glass blower. Looking back.
Vicky, do you have a little story?
It's not as good.
It's okay.
But it's mine.
All right. There you go.
So I worked for my parents. We had a carpet business for like 20 years. We opened it when I was 19. So I was about 20 years old, and I kept looking at the way the pad rolls were in this pad room. They're 6 feet long, about 3 feet wide, and they stacked up irregularly. And there was this carpet rep named Bob Arnold, and I thought he was really cute. And one night, we were having some drinks because there was a liquor store, of course, next to the carpet store, and so he kind of like came up to me and he was like kind of messing with me, like kissing me and everything, and I'm like, I've always wanted to do it in the pad room because I think the configuration would be pretty amazing, like I'd be a gymnast and stuff. So I closed the door, and I didn't like lock it. But I thought turning off the lights meant that we were closed and everything. So we went way back to the back of the shop and into the pad room. It was open on one side, but it was so messy back there. So we climbed up onto these rolls, and it was just as I thought it would be. I mean, the positions that it naturally led you to, it was just incredible. I mean, it was like I could do things on those pad rolls that I could never do it. Like, it's almost like being in water or something. I was screaming, and then all of a sudden this guy comes to the back of the store. Excuse me. And then literally I slid off the bottom of the roll with my no underwear on. I'm like, that was in the days before Yelp, though, when you could treat people like you wanted to. But I can imagine if there was Yelp, what he would have written. But I just recommend it to anyone who can, afford that many rolls of pad in a small room. I would do it again if I had an extra space. Boom.
Wow.
Vicky.
That was awesome.
Can I get a roll of carpet? Excuse me.
Excuse me. Oh, what's going on over here?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my
Does
God.
she come with the roll? What's going on over here?
She sure did.
That carpet's used. I
Yeah.
mean, used.
I mean, it's gently used. Yeah. Vicki, Shawn, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And is there anything you'd like to plug or anything before you head out?
Yeah, we're really happy. Thank you for having us on the
Yeah.
show, Jeremiah. And we are actually here because we started a podcast, and it's called Trailer Park Diaries. And you can find it on All Things Comedy, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. But it's a really fun, kind of half-scripted, improvised podcast. And it's pretty true to form about Vicki and I as best friends. But there's, a little written part where I actually move into Vicki's trailer park, and we find a trunk full of diaries, and we read them.
Yeah, we sorted some diaries and kind of messed with them, but it's been really fun. We've been having a ball, and it's just like here, you forget that there's an audience, so we just really say things we shouldn't have said, and a lot of our
we'll be
family is no
canceled
longer
soon, so
talking
don't
to
worry.
us. But we've been just having a ball doing it, and it's because it's kind of a different format. The diary, it's kind of a mystery, and it's been fun because it's something that isn't on anything else.
Yeah.
So we've been, and plus we're just having a ball together. It gave us something to do during COVID. We started working on it during that time, and we have just had so much fun.
Yeah.
And we're working on the second season now. That we're up to episode 7 in our first season. This today dropped. We have 12, and then our next diary we started working on already. So we're just we really
Had a lot of fun with it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, also, they're both great stand-up comedians that I've watched and shared the stage with for years, guys. So if Shawn or Vicki is in your city, go see them live. Thank you, ladies, for coming on the show. Love you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. We love you.
Jeremiah.
Congratulations on the show.
Oh, thank you.
And what you wore today.
And really nice outfit.
Full
Congratulations.
circle, baby.
GQ, baby. JQ.
JQ, hey.